video. So you guys are probably wondering what my birth story is for my son. My son is now 3 years old, so he was born in 2015 of May, and I just thought I would get on here and try to be as quick as possible with this story and just tell you guys his labor and delivery story. So I'll try to remember as much as I can. It's obviously been almost 4 years now since, he was born, so I'm going to try my best to get into the most details as I can. So basically it started off with a doctor's appointment. I was, I believe, 40 weeks and 1 day pregnant with him, and I went in just for a normal checkup and an ultrasound as well. I had ultrasounds a lot throughout the last trimester of my pregnancy with him because I had gestational diabetes. I did actually have extra fluid with him, but during that doctor's appointment and the sonogram, they actually told me that he still had extra fluid around him, and he wasn't passing some kind of a test where his diaphragm wasn't practicing his breathing movements. And that's something that babies, they go through that in the womb all the time, especially towards the end, because they need to practice that so when they're born they're ready to breathe. Well, he wasn't actually passing that test, so my doctor had me go sit in a different room to have a non-stress test, I think an ST done, and we were just sitting there waiting, and then my doctor just came in and told me and my husband that we are going to have a baby. And I will never forget that moment. We were just looked at each other like, oh crap, this is really happening. And yeah, he's my first baby, so we were just we had no idea what we were about to get into. And yeah, so basically what we did was we went straight to McDonald's because my husband was hungry, and I wasn't hungry at all. I mean, I was, but I was too scared to eat, so we picked up some food for him, and he ate my food because I took maybe one bite of something and I was just I can't eat. I couldn't eat at all. So I was so scared, and I was texting everybody and calling everybody, we're going to the hospital, I'm gonna get induced, and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what happened, and this was very early in the morning. My appointment was at I believe 7 in the morning, 7 a.m. And so we got at the hospital maybe around 8 in the morning. And so we get there, the nurses, they get me into a room, and which is a very nice room, by the way. And they hook me up to an IV, do a bunch of blood work, the fun stuff, right? So, we just kind of sat around, and they gave me the Pitocin. That's what they used on me to induce me. And I believe around 11 a.m. is when they broke my water, and I gotta tell you, that was one of the weirdest experiences of my life. Just giving birth is just a very crazy experience in general. And once you become pregnant, and things they just get messy. Immediately could become a mom. Things are just messy, and when your water breaks, it's definitely messy, and it's definitely crazy. My experience was actually pretty funny. They broke my water, I think, an hour before I asked for the epidural, I think, and because I couldn't stand the contractions, the pain of the contractions, that is actually something I really regret, and I think affected the way he was born, because I got the epidural very, very early on in my labor, and I couldn't stand the pain. I tried to bear with it, but it just, after my water broke, it really picked up, and they got really intense. So I labored and labored and labored, and I stayed at 5 centimeters. I got stuck there at 5 centimeters, and I think I was 80% effaced. But I was stuck at those 2 for hours, most of the day and most of the night. And, they had me rock back and forth on a peanut ball, because he was actually facing, instead of the normal way babies face, they're supposed to face towards your butt, towards your back, and head down and everything. He was head down, but he was facing towards my hip, to the right. So we were trying to turn him. I was trying to rock my hips as much as I could because I was numb. I really couldn't really do a whole lot. That's one thing I really regret about the epidural. I didn't like about it was that I couldn't move, and I feel like if I wouldn't have gotten the epidural, I would have given birth to him, naturally. But we'll get more into that in just a second. So I'm rocking back and forth on the peanut ball for hours. I'm trying to sleep. Of course, you can't sleep. You know, I couldn't sleep. I maybe got like maybe an hour of rest. I can hear my daughter out there making funny noises. It's cute. But anyway, so I'm rocking back and forth on that ball, and you know, I think it was like around 3 in the morning. My doctor comes in and she's like, "You're running a fever." And yeah, I started running a fever, and I stopped dilating. So they were just like, "We're gonna have to do a C-section." And they automatically assume that my pelvis is actually too small, and I'm a very, very, very small person. But like, I'm like 4'11", like I'm under 5 foot, like an inch under 5 foot, like seriously. So, I can grow babies, but I can't give birth to them like I could, you know, like I should. So they came in and they told me I needed a C-section, and I gotta tell you, that was a very intense moment for me. I was terrified. Me and my husband, my family, we were all scared because I don't think my family has ever dealt with a C-section experience. It's major surgery, so it's pretty frightening, and I was exhausted. As much as I was scared, I was actually pretty terrified. Like, I was really terrified, of course, but I was actually kind of relieved because at this point, I was 17 hours into my labor. 17 hours. It's crazy to say. And that's when they decided I need a C-section. They tried so hard, though, to try to get me to give birth naturally. They really wanted that for me. They really wanted to avoid the C-section as much as they could, but things weren't just progressing for me. And I don't really remember if my son was like in distress or anything like that. I think he was. But yeah, that's when they rushed me off, and you know, they had me sign all these papers, like these legal documents and stuff, like if something happened to me, because it was an emergency C-section, and my husband was just in tears. He was freaking out. I gotta tell you, he was freaking out really bad. Phantom cries. But anyway, so yeah, anyway, they wheeled me back. You know, my family's terrified, I'm terrified, but then again, I was relieved, like I said, because I felt like I had no energy to push. I mean, I could if I had to, you know, if you had to, you had to, you know, but I was just so tired. I just remember being so tired. And they wheeled me back, of course, to the surgery room, the operating room. And my husband had to wait outside, and, you know, I'm just laying there, you know, like this. They have my arms strapped down. They've got a blood pressure cuff on me. And they start the surgery. And they don't start the surgery. They bring my husband in, and then they start the surgery. But I was so out of it, you guys. I don't really remember much. I don't remember really the sound of my son's cry, even though I know I heard it. I don't really remember exactly what it sounded like. And apparently they lifted him up over the drapes, and I had no idea that even happened. And I regret that, and I hate that every single day. Not every day, but like every once in a while I think about it, and I'm just like, it makes me sad. I didn't get to see my baby. So, he was born at 7 pounds and 9 ounces, perfectly sized baby, and he had the cord wrapped around him 3 times around his neck, and we didn't know that until like a day after my son was born, and I was like, what the heck? Why couldn't you tell me like soon after? You didn't have to tell me during the surgery, but you could have told me right after my surgery, whenever we were both okay, you know. And then that's when I knew, like, afterwards, I lost a little bit too much blood, and I actually felt the contractions a little bit while they were doing the surgery, and that was really, really frightening to me. I was terrified. I was like, I could feel it, and I felt like I almost passed out, and it was a traumatic experience, but I feel much better about it now. And then with my daughter, she's now 6 months old. I had a C-section with her, but it was planned. So basically, I'm just very small. I can't push out babies. So that's kind of hard to handle, but But that's my son's labor and delivery story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We actually, now that I think about it, we actually stayed in the hospital for about a week. The recovery was rough, obviously, through any kind of major surgery. It's going to be rough with the recovery, but yeah, that's pretty much it. He's now 3 years old, going on 4 now. He'll be 4 in May. And he was born at, I think, 3:46 in the morning. Very, very early in the morning. And it was a summer day, beautiful summer day. The clouds were like, you know, nice and poofy, blue sky. So it was a very, you know, scary experience, but it was also a very beautiful one, in my opinion. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this chit chat with me and story time. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you guys would like to see more or see my daughter's birth story, which will probably be posted in the near future, even though I posted it in the past, I'm going to sit down with you guys and inform you about hers very soon. So yeah, I hope you guys stick around and hope you guys liked it. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye bye!